Takeshi Morishima jumping Homicide during his entrance. This is highly unusual. I don't think we've ever seen an ROH title match begin without proper ring introduction.
Morishima not one to stand on ceremony. He obviously has his eyes firmly set on the world title, and he is wasting no time by attacking the champion on the rampway. DDT on the floor.
This match has not officially begun. They're just brawling out on the floor. A DDT on the floor on the concrete by Morishima. He made his Ring of Honor debut last night in a very hard-hitting match against Samoa Joe. And here on his second event for ROH, gets a world title shot thanks to securing the contract through Pro Wrestling Noah.
He is taking full advantage of that open contract. Homicide in shock, it looks like, in the corner. Obviously was not prepared to be jumped as he was making his way to the ring. It's never happened here in a world title match before. Todd Sinclair now just finally calling for the bell, and we're going to have the official start to this matchup, but Homicide's in bad trouble.
Trying to cut off the oxygen to Homicide, putting all of his body weight across the throat was Morishima, a very intimidating man. Look at just how large of a competitor he is.
Sends Homicide hard to the corner, charges in, Side able to get the boot up. One more time, he catches him coming in. Off the top, tornado DDT. Morishima out to the floor.
Homicide hits the tope con hilo, taking Morishima down to the floor. Julius Smokes looks very pleased. And now Homicide with the title belt, handing it to Todd Sinclair. You know, we were talking about last night during Morishima versus Samoa Joe about how Samoa Joe has always been one of the most intimidating, largest individuals in ROH competition, and Morishima made Samoa Joe look small, and you know, he's even more agile than Samoa Joe, and now he's taking on a man considerably smaller than Samoa Joe and Homicide, but he is your world champion.
Take nothing away from Homicide. He's making his fourth defense of the world title. He won in Final Battle 2006 from Bryan Danielson, ending Danielson's 15-month reign. And he's finally, it seems, Homicide getting back into the flow of this matchup after being jumped on his way to the ring. Headbutt to the top of the head of the challenger. Smokes putting the bad mouth on Morishima.
You know, ever since the very first Ring of Honor event, Homicide has been known as one of the toughest individuals that you will find. His element is brawling, and it was Morishima that started this thing on the floor, and Homicide is at home out on the floor, using whatever he can get his hands on to do damage, and now he's getting even more fired up, even more serious, realizing his title is on the line.
Clothesline from Smokes on the floor, stuns Morishima.
Doing whatever it takes to walk out of Philadelphia still wearing the ROH World title.
Homicide's not a guy you have to invite to the fight. He's lived his entire life fighting on the streets of Brooklyn, and this is no different to Homicide just because there's a belt on the line. He sends the challenger crashing into the guardrail. This kind of match is right up Homicide's alley. Not your typical ROH World title matchup. This isn't going to be a 60-minute Mac Classic. This is going to be two guys beating each other to a bloody pulp, probably. Morishima again hits the steel.
Going away on the back of Morishima is Homicide.
Ripping at the eyes is the champ. Todd Sinclair giving him a warning.
And Homicide showed just what a tough individual he was during his long feud against Steve Corino. That blood feud between those two men that came to a conclusion right here in Philadelphia.
Driving a knee to the forehead of the challenger. Don't forget the blood feud he had with Colt Cabana. He practically tried to kill that guy. Morishima off the ropes. He just runs into him. Double clothesline. He ran right through both of them.
But just as tough as Homicide is, I mean, just look at the size of Morishima. It's certainly something that he's going to have to somehow find a way to overcome in this match. Great agility shown
Julius Smokes is wearing a bulletproof vest, and he just ran right through him like he wasn't even standing there.
Very good point. And now cutting off the oxygen to Homicide, putting all of his body weight across the back of the head and the neck of Homicide with the second ring rope across his throat. And now Morishima planting him with a body slam.
Using the ropes for leverage and driving both boots, 290 pounds right across the chest of the ROH World Champ. Not holding the ropes, so he does not have to break.
You know, 5 years ago, Homicide was one half of a tag team here in ROH. Now he's the world champion, and he's battling what many are saying is the future of heavyweight Japanese wrestling in Takeshi Morishima. Doing whatever he can, trying his best to fight off this man.
Look at Homicide is one of the heaviest hitters here in ROH, and he hit Morishima with everything he had. I mean, he's taken down Samoa Joe. He's taken down guys left and right on the ROH roster, and those blows barely had any effect on Morishima.
Morishima with great momentum off the ropes just bowls over the world champion. Morishima with the cover.
Homicide able to kick out at 2.
Of course, Morishima known for the backdrop driver, dumping his opponent right on their head and neck. Homicide is going to have to do whatever he can to try to avoid that maneuver from Morishima during this match.
We saw a taste of it last night. He was able to execute it on a guy like Samoa Joe, 280 plus pounds, so you know the guy can hit it at any time from anywhere. Another cover and another near fall for the challenger.
Got Homicide back to a standing position, sends him into the ropes. Sunset flip, can he take him over? No! All of the body weight of Morishima on the chest of Homicide, but his shoulder rolled up off the canvas.
Homicide may be dealing with broken ribs right now at this point. Morishima really wrenching back on that rear chin lock.
Trying to wear down Homicide. Of course, Homicide likes to put a variety of different maneuvers to use. The cop killer, a maneuver that, Homicide's a great wrestler, but I don't think he can get a guy the size of Morishima up for the cop killer. But his lariat has been very vicious in professional wrestling, and the lariat might be Homicide's best bet at putting Morishima down. That's how he defeated Samoa Joe in the title defense.
Snapmare by the challenger once again takes the champ off his feet. Now the head scissors once again trying to suck the oxygen out of Homicide. Sound strategy on the part of the challenger. He spent the early part of the match trying to batter Homicide from one side of the building to the other. Now they're back in the ring. He's slowed down the pace and he's trying to cut off the oxygen.
Referee checking out Homicide's condition. Still shaking his legs. He still has some life left in him. Trying to reach toward those ropes to force a break. Morishima still with the head scissors applied. But Homicide not giving it up.
Well, it took nearly 5 years for Homicide to win that title. Everything he had to go through here in ROH to finally become the world champ. He is not going to give that belt up without one serious fight. And he's able to crawl on the ropes and force the break.
Morishima stomping away on Homicide as Julius Smokes trying to fire up his man. Encourage him back to his feet, and that's exactly what he did. Back to his feet, but a shot from Morishima takes him right back down.
One open hand strike sent the champ to the canvas. Smokes again join with Morishima. I don't even know if he can understand what he's saying.
Morishima with Homicide. Into the buckle he goes. Charges in with the elbow.
Off the ropes, Homicide blocks it. Ace Crusher!
High impact maneuver from the champ. Cover!
And Morishima able to get the shoulder up. Homicide back to his feet.
Waiting for Morishima to get back up. He could be thinking lariat right now. This is how he beats Samoa Joe. 2 lariats, cover!
He kicked out!
How did he kick out? The lariat to the back of the neck. The lariat from the front. And he kicked out. Homicide nursing that bad shoulder, that nagging injury to his own shoulder.
He's got to be questioning himself right now. What else does he have to do to put this big foreigner away? Scooping a hard slam from Morishima drives the champion to the canvas. He absorbed 2 lariats from Homicide and popped right back up. And now the big man is making his way to the outside, climbing up to the top. Todd Sinclair looking on. Smokes has a hold of the ankles, trying to slow the big man down. Right hand from Homicide, and the champ follows him up. Sinclair's gonna let this go. He saw the interference, but he's not gonna let the world title end on a technicality like that. Morishima up top, superplex from the champ.
What a show of strength by Homicide, superplexing Morishima to the canvas. And you'll notice Morishima's nose is bleeding once again. Oh, gets his shoulder up on the cover right there. He had his nose busted by Samoa Joe last night, and Homicide has re-aggravated that injury, a potential broken nose suffered by Morishima.
Something that, as this match goes a long way, could cause problems for Morishima as far as being able to breathe and catch his breath the longer this match goes. But right now, Homicide is perched on the top. The challenger stumbles to his feet. Homicide ready to fly, and Morishima just caught him like a small child.
Right into a bear hug and launched overhead by Morishima.
The world champ came off the top, and Morishima caught him like he weighed like a bag of feathers. He didn't even weigh anything, and then threw him halfway across the ring.
Both competitors feeling the effects down on the canvas. Double count administered by senior official Todd Sinclair.
Both men struggling to get to their feet as Sinclair continues to count. Whoever wins this matchup is going to take on BJ Whitmer next week. Off the ropes goes the champ. Flying butt attack. Sends him to the canvas. Morishima now with a head of steam. And again, he looks to make his way to the outside.
Homicide put a stop to what Morishima had in mind just a moment ago. We've seen the agility of Morishima against Joe all the way up top. Who will face BJ Whitmer in Dayton? Missile dropkick has sent Homicide to the floor.
The champ feeling it out on the outside as Morishima back to his feet.
Trying to take you out.
It's almost like he saw the blood start to flow from his nose, and this guy kicked it into another gear.
Joe just standing on Homicide. 290 pounds on Homicide. Nowhere for him to go. Tasting his own blood and getting even more aggressive as Morishima.
Picks the champion back up and sends Homicide off the ropes. Homicide ducks the elbow off the ropes, ducks the clothesline. Glancing blow off that kick. He collected with a drop kick. Morishima didn't even move. Another drop kick. Like again, he just swatted him away like he was a child. Drop toe hold sends him down to the canvas, and a handful of hair from the champ. Neck breaker.
He's got Morishima on his back now. Homicide looking to take a chance. Going up top.
Senton off the top. Cover. And again, the challenger able to get the shoulder up.
Only 2 for Homicide. Feeling the effects on his own back. But he does have the challenger down.
The crowd starting to get behind Homicide as he's back to his feet. Morishima still on his back, and the champ is going to bring him back up. Backs him to the center of the ropes and sends him off. Reversal by Morishima. Side slam!
Morishima puts an end to Homicide's offense right there with one maneuver, driving him into the center of the ring.
Second or third time in this matchup that Homicide has started a bit of a flurry of offense, and one vicious, hard-hitting move from the challenger stops all that momentum right in his tracks. And once again, Homicide is in big, big trouble, and the 290-pound challenger...
Oh, backdrop driver. Homicide sees it coming. Elbows to the side of the head of Morishima. Going after the arm.
Biting away, it looked like, for a second as he drives him to the canvas, and then locks in the STF.
Trying to keep the big man grounded. A good strategy on Homicide's part. Trying to wear him down and keep him down on the mat where his size won't come into play.
Also, that crossface he had locked in right across the bridge of the nose, causing more blood to flow. You see it around the nose and mouth of Morishima as he's struggling to try and get to his feet. But the champion really has this locked in.
Really pulling back on the face lock here as Morishima trying to reach toward the ropes.
See Homicide grinding away at the nose of Morishima, who is very far from the ropes right now.
Homicide decides to release the hold and go with a different strategy, but he did wear down Morishima with the STF. Still on his back as Homicide out to the apron, going up top once again.
Homicide gonna take a chance here as he climbs to the top. Thinks he has Morishima in position on his back as Homicide's perched up on top, taking his time, ready to pounce, but he gets caught with a Hurricane Rana, does Morishima. Off the ropes, Homicide went for the lariat and got caught. Backdrop driver!
Morishima unable to go for a cover right away. Homicide dumped right on his head.
Morishima trying to get his bearings. He finally realizes where he is. Goes for the cover. And Homicide gets the shoulder up. That split-second delay right there by Morishima gave the champion a chance to get the shoulder up and save his title for the time being. Back to their feet they go. One more time, the waist lock by Morishima. Homicide drives the elbows to the head. Overhead chop. No effect on Morishima. Forward shot.
Another backdrop driver. Homicide trying to sit down and block the attempt. Elbows to the back of the head. Big boot. No effect on Morishima. A second. Still on his feet.
Morishima refuses to go down. Homicide off the ropes. Morishima blocks it. Backdrop driver! Somehow he kicked out.
Huge lariat from Morishima, and he kicks out another backdrop driver.
What a shocker here in Philly!